What is going on, YouTube family? Welcome back to another episode of NAS100 analysis today. But this video is going to be a little bit different because we're also going to be talking about gold as well. So maybe I should reintroduce the video to welcome back to a new episode of NAS and gold analysis today. And also, I believe you're going to find the content I'm going to be sharing with you today super useful. So make sure you hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification, and drop us a like. So with that covered, we're going to get straight into it. So as I said in my last week's video, I'm not actually trading NAS anymore. Not that there's an issue with NAS, but I've just walked away from it for a bit. So in this video, it's just going to be a straight analysis, and then we're going to get on with what exactly I am doing or what I have been doing, right? So last week's recording we talked about these two locations over here, the weekly high and the weekly low, and the weekly high was kind of taken out on the Wednesday last week. Okay, so we're going to get into all of that right now. So first things first, let me just separate the weeks across. Let's just separate that over. Okay, so let's lock that in place. Okay, and let's get rid of these price points, right? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of measure out exactly what's taking place here. So we can see weekly high was taken out over here, right? So weekly high of last week was taken out over here, but price is in a range right now. Okay, so let's just get rid of this level. I just wanted to make sure that I was absolutely spot on in regards to what we've seen in regards to this weekly high being taken out, and the weekly low has not been taken out. Okay, so this situation over here, all right, okay, in my opinion, is an uptrend. I'll be looking for buys underneath this level right here, right? So underneath this level is where I would be looking for buys, because until this weekly low is taken out, okay, I have to treat this entire situation, which was last week's situation, as a bullish situation, even though it is ranging, because that's essentially what is happening right now, is that market is ranging, right? So if you actually look at this on a larger, on a macro, we can see that price is actually ranging at the top. So if I was to remove all the drawings from here, we can see that it is ranging. But how it's kind of ranging is that it's giving us like a falling wedge, so you can kind of make out the shape of the wedge over here. I'm going to need to bring on another NAS chart, because as soon as I try to draw on this, all the drawings going to come back. So let's just all the drawings back on again. Let's find a cleaner one. Okay, now this here, right, I didn't even plan on bringing on this chart, but obviously the chart has arrived, so that's good. So this here, this drawing that we did over here, okay, is, you will find it in videos that I was doing in, say, October, because I talked about this area in a few videos in October, okay, that this was where I thought, this is what I think market is going to be doing, right, this year. So let me just bring it all in. So this is what I think the NAS is going to be doing either this year or start doing from early next year, okay? And as you can see, we've got the little falling wedge, right? So we have this falling wedge. We've got the same thing up here, but on a smaller scale, right? And it's come into this zone, the zone that I talked about. It's actually come into that zone. Like I say, you're going to find the content here useful. Do you know what I mean? Right? So it's come into this zone right now. Now, it may push up. It may push up just because of the overall structure of this, okay? But there is also a good chance that it could also pull back downwards as well and stay in line with the overall trend, which is how I personally believe market is moving. And it's kind of like this. So if you bring it all in, this is the actual structure that I think market is moving in. So it's going down, it's going to touch up here, it's going to come back down, and it's going to push out, and then it's going to do that. And I think it's going to do that for a little while, and then eventually it's going to break out. It might not break out, but eventually it's going to break out, okay? But the key thing is, what happens at this level? What happens at this level, right? So as it stands, there's two things that could happen right now, okay? Which is either price is going to push up, right? Or price is going to break down, okay? But we've been given a signal, which is this little candle right here, this little red one, okay, because that closed above a weekly high, and that weekly high is this one right here. It's this one right here, right? So that weekly high, this one right here, was taken out last week by this one right here. Okay, so there's a good chance that this consolidation that we're seeing in this area right now, price may go up higher. Okay, it may go up higher, right? But if it doesn't, it basically means a weekly low would need to be taken out, right? And that weekly low that would need to be taken out, I think, is this one over here. But let's go into this chart right here on the day, and let's have a look. Yeah, weekly low is that one over here, so it will need to take out this one, right? Once this one has been taken out, then this whole area right here is going to make a lot of sense in terms of where market is going to go once this low has been taken out, right? Once this low has been taken out, it's quite clear what it's going to do. How it's going to do it is going to be interesting, how it actually happens. But I personally believe that it will just start to break down and just fall down some more. And also, in following the analysis based on everything I've just said just now, it is important that you take down this as well, that I am not a financial advisor. I'm not putting myself forward as a guru. I'm just basically just showing you how I would do things if I was presented with certain situations, how I would actually go about handling those situations, right? So that's what I would do. I'll be waiting for one of these lows to be taken out before I make a decision in terms of how I'm going to do it, and if I'm going to add size or not add any size on it, right? But so far, if you look at it from this angle over here, if it takes out a low, the drop down here, so, and I'm not really trying to gas you guys up, right? But it is important that I do say this, right? Yeah, if it does take out a low, right, the drop from here to down here is enough to change your life for good. I'm just going to pull it there like that. It's enough to change your life for good if you go in with size, right? But remember, with every risk, you know what I mean? So there's risk reward, and obviously there is no reward but a massive loss. So you have to take all of that into consideration when deciding if you are going to be taking that move or not. So let's get back into what I need to tell you guys for this week, right? So with that covered, how do we need to approach this week? How we need to approach this week is really, really, really simple, all right? So now the rules have changed slightly. So the new weekly low is over here now. This is the new weekly low, right? And as you can see, they're getting closer together now. They're getting closer and closer together. So we kind of need to prepare ourselves for a slight shift, right? A slight shift. So if I was to make a recommendation, and bearing in mind, I'm not a financial advisor and this is not financial advice, right? This is a recommendation, but however, I am not a financial advisor. So you kind of need to take that under advisement when making this decision, right? Is that I will assume, due to the build-up in this area right now, right, that price is about to start to collapse. That it is going to collapse. Either this is getting taken out next week, okay, right? So I'm leaning on the side of this is getting taken out next week. But if I'm trading, I'm taking buys from below this level is ideal, right? And just above is confirmation to say it's going to push up, because obviously a weekly high has been taken out over here. So it only makes sense that price will be going upwards, right? But however, where we are in the market, based on the chart that I've just showed you on the day, right? Where everything is right now, okay, there is a high probability that it's going to be breaking down, even though we're getting higher highs. So, in my opinion, you're going to need to exercise caution in this area, right? I cannot stress that enough. You're going to need to exercise caution. You can either wait this whole situation out, or if you want to take the risk, obviously you can try to navigate it. It is kind of straightforward to do, but at the same time, it does come with its risk, and it also comes with its rewards. And like I said earlier, the drop from over here down to all the way down, right, is great. Like, there is a lot to be gained. Like, it's enough to change your life permanently for, yeah, it's enough to do that. It's enough to do that. So, my recommendation for this video would be this. Let me add in the price points, and then we shall get on with the next video. Okay, so, price point. So, if price takes out on the high side 16,178.4, okay, we'll be looking for buys, because obviously it is a bullish situation. Once again, not a financial advisor, not giving you financial advice. If price closes below 15,827.5, then we're looking for a selling situation, and obviously that is what I would do, right? What you do is what you do. That's what I would do. So these are the two things that I'll be looking for next week if one or the other is taken out. Okay. Now, this one over here was a bit of a false alarm, and this one would have done a few people dirty, right? It actually would have. That's why I always say, like, always wait for the pullback, because if you went in on the trigger, and even if you targeted below here as your stop, you're just sitting okay at the moment, but you're kind of hoping that it continues to push up. We may get that, we may not, but such is life. And finally, before I even end this video, let me just put in another formation in there for you, so you can see exactly what I'm saying, right? So if I draw this in there like that for you, we can kind of see that we're already getting the signal to say that it's starting to break down. Okay, so let's just zoom this out a bit. Okay, so if you draw a trend, you can see the trend follows, is broken, price has pushed below, and it's now come right here. The only thing it hasn't done is given a signal to say that it actually wants to go down by closing below this one right here. But this here is it's a subtle warning sign, right? One you should not ignore. So I'm going to leave that here with you guys, right? I'll leave that here for you, and let's get on with the next video, right? The next part, which is looking at the gold market. So I've been taking in a few trades with gold, right? And as you can see, looking at how this is looking, I'm only been doing one thing, which is obviously buying the gold. I did see a couple of videos of people putting in sales, and I'm like, this is not a selling market. But however, you know, this is how we learn. We make mistakes, and we improve on them. So just to go into a day, I'm going to give you how I've kind of prepared my strategy in terms of how I'm going to be behaving with gold, right? So if you're looking at all of the red horizontal lines, right, the red horizontal levels, they're taking all the low points of gold, right, from May. So this trend from May, right, I've just been logging that down. Any further, and I just think I'm just wasting my time. So we're just going to focus with the current trend as it is right now, and we're just going to use that as a reference point to be able to make moves in terms of how I plan on navigating, right? So we can see that in October was when the first high point of the downward trend was taken out. It was taken out over here. So from that point onwards, this has become a bullish trend of gold. Gold has become bullish, right? So what gold will need to do in order to show us that it's going into a downtrend is it will need to take out a low, right? So it will need to take out a new low, not any of these lows that I've added in because they've all been taken out, right? But it will need to take out a new one that it forms. So for example, this low is relevant. So this low right here is relevant. If that low is taken out from where it is right now, it takes it out down here. We're looking for sales on gold, right? That would be what I would do. So let me just take this back. So just to kind of run it through as to what I've been doing, and I'm just mainly going to talk about last week. The week prior to that is not really that important, so we're just going to talk about last week, right? So last week, okay, so this is it right here. So last week, my strategy has been very straightforward in terms of how I've been behaving in regards to how I want to handle gold, which is what I've been telling you guys for the longest, which is I'm waiting for either a weekly low or a weekly high to be taken out. Simple as, right? Once I see that, I know what I should be looking for, and then that's what I do. So using the previous week as a reference guide, right? So There we are. So let me lock it in. Just bear with me a moment. Okay. So using that as a reference guide, this is what I've realized, right? So what I started to do was taking down the lows of the week as well as the highs of the week, right? So this is the low of gold. And then this is the high of gold, right? So the low was set on a Monday and the high was set on a Tuesday. The highest point was actually, set on a Tuesday, right? And then on the Monday, it broke it. So let's just Okay, so that was the situation, right? So the following week, Monday comes, okay, I look at the situation, I see what's happening. So what I did was, so as soon as I had noticed that we had a close above the weekly high, the previous weekly high, I started looking for buys, right? Now ideally I kind of had my buys around down here, right, around this level, right? As we went on through the day, I realized that price was not going to be coming down to this level anytime soon. So what I basically did was I waited. I literally waited. That's all I could do. So I noted down the high of the Monday, right? And then I noted the low of the Monday as well, which is right here. That's what I did, right? And then looking at the distance between the two, right, seeing that the distance between here and the top side was a manageable stop size for me. Everyone is different, but from this level to this level, that stop size was manageable for me. Like I was okay with it, right, in holding it. What I did was I put in right here, right above this level right here. That's what I did, right above it, because I'd already got in the signal. It's closed above, right? I want to get it low, but what's going on in this area is telling me that price might not even come down to the zone. So I've kept a couple of pending buy orders sitting at this level down here, right? And I've put a pending buy order sitting at the top up here, right? And what I've done is with the buy order that's sitting up here, I've put the stop just under this zone, right? And then, because even if it closes, say for example, price triggers and it flies all the way down and it closes me out and it comes down lower and picks me up at this level, right? On its way up, I will make up the loss that I took in this area. So I wasn't bothered at all. In my opinion, that was a sensible way to actually put in, locking that move or locking that trade. So obviously I put in the trade up here. The ones down here obviously didn't trigger, but the one here did. So it did, boom, it went all the way up, looked fantastic. And then obviously I waited for another situation to present itself. As you do, right? As you do, right? So now that I know that this here is the low of the week, right? I sat in the trade, so I put in my buy has gone up, and I can see price is consolidating, and price has given me a structure to let me know that I can actually maybe consider putting in another buy, right? And that is exactly what I did. I put in another buy, right? So looking at this structure formation, so I saw it go up, come down, went up, then when it came down again, I put in a situation where I put in a buy right here. I put in a buy right here, right? So then I had a trade up here, and then I put in another trade up here, and then it exploded, boom, right? And then on a Friday evening, I took out, well, I say I ended it here somewhere, in all fairness. I exited all trades on the Friday night. So I took my profits from this one, and I took my profits from this one up here on the Friday evening, and that was me done for the day. Okay, so taking these out to give you a bit of an idea as to what to look for if you too are also thinking about navigating the space of gold or the gold asset. Okay, this is what I am looking for next week. The same thing I always look for. The same thing I always look for week in, week out, right? I'm looking for a weekly low or a weekly high to be taken out. That's it. That's all I'm looking for. Once I see that, I know what I need to do and how I need to do it, right? So weekly low, let's add that in there. So weekly low is right here, and then we've got weekly high up here. That's it. That's all I am looking for. I am looking for either a weekly low or a weekly high to be taken out, and then I know what I'm going to do, right? And also being able to identify key market structures as well. And also as well, this same structure that we've seen up here, which helped me with my decision making, we had the same thing down here. We had the same thing down here, right? Same thing down here, but I wasn't too bothered. I wasn't too bothered about this one over here because I already had my my pending order up here, right? My pending buy, so I wasn't too bothered in regards to that. If it broke down or broke out, I already knew I was locked in. There was no point looking for a cheaper discount because that where I was, it was respectable. Over here, it was really important in terms of, because of the swings between this overall structure, it was kind of large in all fairness, right? So if I was just to give you an idea as to how the actual size of this zone. So we're talking about 14 pip swings, right? So it's fairly large, right? It's not large, but it's fairly large, right? So hence why we kind of planned our way in with a little bit more precision, rather than what we did over here, which was we just placed a pending buy just right above the Monday's high, and just to see what market would do on the Tuesday. And obviously market triggered it nicely. We went in and it was able to get a nice, really good situation down here as well, and that also drove us all the way up to the top side on the Friday. That was a nice little take-home profit that we gained. So yeah, it's fantastic, right? So I just thought I'd just go back into that again, right? So if you're looking for an opportunity on the downside, this is what I'll be looking for. So I'll be looking at price point at $2,002.35. Okay, so 2002.35 downside is what I'll be looking for price to close below if I'm looking for sales. And if I'm looking for buys, I'm looking for price to close above 2075.41. If I get a close in either one of those directions, right, I will then be looking to obviously put in my moves or make a decision as to what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do it. So these are the points I'm looking for, either up here or either down here, right? So that is it, guys, in terms of what I have to offer you in regards to analysis for today, right? If you haven't done so already, make sure you hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification, and drop us a like, and I'll see you all in the next video, which will be very, very soon. So for now, this is Pips and Points signing out.